So, I think the biggest one is the fallen level. So go ahead, Ash. Give us a rundown. You finally were able to put all the pieces together. Or is this using elementals by any chance, or is that other apps that you had to
It is
build?
not. Elementals got paused so that we could. So Elementals was like the ability to pick up items and have like backpacks and switching items and stuff. And just for simplicity, like we switched over to using a class-based system, which kind of just makes it a lot easier to build out little worlds with. And I think like if somebody wants to build a game that's kind of like Fallen, it's probably going to be easier for them to use something like this. I don't know why, but I can't share my screen.
Oh, it's because I'm sharing my
Uh,
screen. Go ahead, share your screen.
oh, you are. Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah,
You're good.
go
I
ahead.
was just gonna. I literally just looked up and saw you were already streaming what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty. It's a fun little game. Like I've spent a few hours here and there, and people seem to be enjoying it. There's lots of things. Like it's very bare bones right now. It's basically like you just jump in PvP, um, earn a little bit of hyper, and then withdraw. And kind of there's something kind of unique around the idea of like just jumping into a world, depositing a little bit of hyper to play, running around, making or gaining or losing hyper, and then withdrawing whatever you got. And like, I don't know, there's something kind of like just simple. And I think Sari said it like it's like trying to a attack games from first principles. Whereas a lot of people kind of come up with these really elaborate tokenomics for games, which, if you look a little deeper, kind of resemble some kind of Ponzinomics. Um,
Yeah.
whereas this is like trying to be the complete opposite. At least for now, it has no fees or anything like that. It's just straight in, and it's skill based. There's no randomization. There's no like, dice rolls to figure out whether you're gonna win or not. It's all skill based. If you're a good player, you win. If you're not, you'll lose.
Yeah.
Which
And
can
you,
kind of be really punishing for some people. But it's been fun. It's really cool. Yesterday we added voice chat to that world, and it's now in the core for those who want to have voice chat in their worlds. And that just kind of made it a little bit more fun, where you can just run around, and we added emotes and stuff like that. There's people right now just praying at the loophole.
yeah. Yeah, let me head over there too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been fun. I think this to me is a milestone. Not mainly because of what it is, but because it's a full experience in the new V2 engine, and it kind of showcased everything that the engine can do. Which I don't know. To me, that's like super exciting. But yeah, very cool.
I definitely would say don't sell yourself short in terms of it's not a fully kind of baked game. The loop is perfect. I actually think the health regen is probably takes away a little bit from the risk element because then you could just run away a little bit and
Mm.
regenerate your life. But the original what you had yesterday with the without the regen, I think was a great game loop of you go in there, you try to mine and kill skeletons without getting hurt, and hoping that nobody jumps into the world to gank you. So you're always like looking behind your back. Now with the regen, it's a little bit more safer to go into the world, I would say, because
Yeah.
you could
We,
just run away a little
we,
bit.
it's always going to be a balancing act, I think, and I agree with the health regen. We can just like reduce that a little
Yeah,
bit. Also, doing things like the sprint ability should stun people or like temporarily impair the person if you hit them, so that it's more. Otherwise, you can't. I don't know. There's something about the combat right now where it's like there's something missing, and I think that would fix that. I added the ability to. You could just sit in the lobby right now and alt tab and go and do your thing and wait for people to play. And when they enter the world, you'll hear a sound like it plays a little like ding sound.
yeah. Oh,
Just there's little things, yeah, little improvements, but it's kind of like building this was not the intention. The intention was making sure that we had everything to build things like this. So while building it, basically there's the noise. So like while building this, a lot of things needed to be added to the core, and it was like just small little blind spots of things that were needed to make full experiences in games. And we also have a new Solana branch, which is really simple. It gives your world a wallet, and your wallet can then you can deposit money to that world wallet and withdraw from that world wallet, and then your apps can do logic based on that, so it can exchange and swap like based on damage or playing games or whatever you want.
Yep. And what type of little things did you have to build out? I'm kind of curious, like what you found that needed to be tweaked.
Off the top of my head, I think there were lots of little UI bits and pieces. So first we had the Solana stuff that we needed. Voice chat was definitely needed to make this more interesting and fun for people who, typing in a game while you're trying to kill someone. It's not fun. And just being more social in general. Little UI things and a couple of bugs with certain physics bits and pieces. Just like general things. Like another thing that I noticed is that something that I want to add to this is like name tag distance culling, so that you can't be on the other side of the world and people can see where you are, because you can see your name through all the rocks. So that's another thing that I want to make an improvement to make it so that your name tags don't show up unless you're close enough.
I
like
noticed that little hack that you could see the people like coming for you. It's like, oh damn, I should get out of here.
I like the element of surprise, especially in a game like this. Like, I want to walk around the corner and be like, oh crap, there's a guy.
Yeah. Somebody says in the chat the spatial voice is off. I remember yesterday you were getting the activity, like people dying and people getting killed. I think those are very neat little additions that will really polish it out. So definitely appreciate your attention to detail as you test this and gank and be ganked.
Something new that we didn't do in V1 was making an animation while you're chatting in voice chat. So if you're standing next to someone and you open up voice chat and you start talking to them, your character starts like playing a talking emote. And I mean, it's such a simple idea. This was something that is it Garrett? I can't remember the name. He mentioned this a couple of times, and I'm like, yeah, this just adds to the immersion. It's little things like that. Mm-hmm. Also, just not on Fallen, like in general. I think we're almost at the point where we can start doing our town halls in world, which is something that I'm really excited for. We now that we have voice chat, we can do that, obviously. But I think screen sharing, just being able to pop something up on the screen, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I saw that live kit stuff. Is there like just it's basically enabling live kit functionality and then it basically runs right into the UI, or do you have to tweak the UI in order to support that?
Nope, anyone can add it to their world. So I haven't talked to Janko or HP yet about adding live kit to their worlds on Hyperworld Host. But my sneaky suspicion is that you could probably offer these guys all voice chat on all worlds for free, because their free plan is actually extremely what's the word?
Generous?
Like, yeah, generous. Yeah, like we in V1 we have we're using live kit as well, and just with like I think we were sitting at like 5K monthly active users, and we still weren't getting a bill from live kit. Like it's kind of ridiculous. They really are targeting like the enterprise. They want you to be really big before they start charging you. Yeah. But yeah, if anyone wants to self-host and add LiveKit, it's simple. You just go to LiveKit, sign up, free account. We're still using a free account for Fallen. You sign up for LiveKit. They give you a couple of keys and you add them to your environment variables, and the engine automatically knows how to handle that. So it'll put the little microphone button and do all the audio and stuff for you.
Yep. The screen sharing, I'm definitely looking forward to that piece as well. Because with that, then you can run tutorials and showcases and all that. The stadium, like a theater room, becomes much more interactive in that way. So
I've been wanting to set up little Red Rocks like arena theater out there in the desert. Just hadn't had I got a lot of good
I'll be trying to tackle both at the same time, videos and screen sharing, because they're kind of the same. They're both just video textures, which kind of unlocks two things. Yeah, is like screen sharing for things like town halls and meetups and stuff like, and tutorials and stuff like that, but also videos which will unlock streaming and like live events and that kind of stuff.
All right, you guys heard it first. We're gonna have Red Rock Amphitheater in Tatadalian in no time.
That'd be cool.
The world god is listening. No, I gotta admit, the world chat here and voice chat in general, it's been fun playing around with it and being in here since yesterday. Yeah, kind of like who is this? I think Dai said it does seem like the spatial is off just a bit. Maybe not off in the sense of, I think it's just too low, or like the distance or something maybe.
Too low in volume or too low in position?
Position probably, and maybe both. So for instance, like if I'm just sitting maybe a meter or two away from, like right now I'm sitting away from Dai and Howie, but if I was to go like just right over here by this tree and start hearing, you could noticeably like it sounds like a whisper, you know, and I mean it like almost kills it off. So
I think right now the actual audio is sitting at your feet,
that would make
but
sense.
but the camera like pivot point is where where your speakers are listening from, which is at your head. So yeah, there would definitely be a distance issue there, and I'll probably make a quick little hack to make that more.
But other than that, yeah, it's been pretty smooth.
Yeah, Bogey was in there with a drone. I'm not sure how he sneaked a drone into this. If it's like
I added one in there.
Yeah, it's an Easter egg or something, but he was flying around in it, announcing things, like talking about, like seeing who was getting ganked and flying. So it was that element was pretty neat, and I can definitely see that idea of an AI announcer like monitoring activity in the world and what's happening and kind of going through doing a play-by-play definitely adds another element to it.
Yeah, we should get some agents in here to kill or be killed by.
Killed or be killed. Yeah, Grim Reaper is definitely at it very hard right now. He's picked up a couple kills. Is there, so we got the live kit on the way. We have the PvP world going. Are there any other pieces that you wanted to hit upon before I started passing it around to the team here? Janko has an announcement as well, so we can give him some space there. But did you have any other stuff that you wanted to highlight?
There are a lot of things happening, but I think the highlights are a couple things. In the world, in like the main menu, there's a toggle to go full screen, which I think is pretty cool if you're like spending any an amount of time in a world. Going full screen's nice. The Solana V2 branch is pretty solid now. I think it's ready for anyone who wants to build anything Solana based. By default, I think it is using Hyper as the world currency, but it's really easy to swap out if people want to change that. But obviously, a lot of people in our community use Hyper, so it's probably going to be easy to do it that way. Yeah. I think Fallen was dropped, and voice chat, and those are the main ones. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then for the coming week, what would you say you'd like to see from the community? The things that you're pushing out for them to, besides getting this pool up to 1,000 Hyper. What else would you like the community to be playing with and experimenting with?
I think me or Sarah are going to seed this world with like $1,000 or something like that, and change a little bit of the mechanics around how you collect Hyper, and just maybe that is incentivizing people to jump in and have a little bit more fun. Yeah. I've found that like a lot of people are hesitant to jump into this because it's PvP, which is like somewhat high risk. But the stakes here are super low. It's all fun. I'd like the few people that I've managed to get in here who didn't seem like super interested, but like actually this is pretty fun. But yeah. The next week I think for me is mostly going to be focusing on creating stuff for creators. So I'm starting to look at apps now. I'm building I forget what I said the other day, but it was just talking about having like these palettes of apps and having worlds have a default set of them, so it's more matching. It's like
Yes.
V1, but
Yeah.
expandable. So V1 has a list of apps that you can use, and like you don't need to be a dev or anything like that, and it's super cool. But with V2, I want to seed worlds with their own palette of apps that is similar to V1, but also let you create your own ones. So, or modify the default one. Yeah.
Yep. The palette is one of the very nice to haves. Especially since we right now we're doing is dumping a bunch of files in the all hypes file, and so
Yeah.
getting
Well, if you can make a palette, you should be able to download that, and it's just like a single zip of all the apps that are in that palette, and then people can share those around as well. So, yeah, I think that kind of solves a lot of the problems. For example, like the road collection of road pieces that are all single apps. Being able to make a palette of those, and then maybe palette isn't the right word. I'm just going with it for now.
so
But it's just like a collection of apps, right?
so it's actually something you could like import, and it's imported
Mm.
into your palette as a. So it's, I guess wouldn't you have to change hype apps in order to get like, because right now when you drop a hype app it drops right into the world, so you would have to. So the idea there is that instead of you have an option between dropping it directly into the world or then just adding it to the palette. I would call it a palette because that's what it is. It's like it has all the things you
Yeah.
could take from a they yearn for the palettes from Agent
I
12.
think if you drop an individual app, it'll do what it currently does. It just drops it in, same as a GLB, that kind of thing. But then if you drop I guess it would be a zip file, like a zip, maybe it's a .hype palette or .hype collection or something like that file. You drop that in, and it'll add a new tab to your collections window. So there'll be a window like maybe, I don't know, let's call it there's a key, you click B or something like that for bag, and it brings up a little window at the bottom right, and that'll have your list of apps in there, and by default it'll have all the same apps as V1. But if you were to drag and drop a new collection, or you can have more than one, it just creates a new tab, and you can switch to that one and start using it.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a button to change it, edit, add things, remove things, and then download it. Yeah, I'm kind of just making this up as I go, but I think that kind of like the core part of that seems right to me.
Yeah. And talking about collections, we could kind of switch over to the announcement from Janko. Are you with us, Janko? Is your mic good?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Hey,
It's a little low. Try
Yeah,
again.
so we finally launched the new marketplace update. So all this stuff with collections and things, like a version of that is available already in that marketplace.
Yeah. So if you'd like, you could go ahead and share your screen, and we can check it out. If you could give us a little walkthrough, or give us a link, either one.
I'll send you a link right now, and I'll share the screen. Unless you want to share your screen and walk through it, and I'll guide you through it.
No,
to
you
see,
can.
like,
Yeah, you can. You
the
can walk
first time
it.
user, like how you get through it. I sent the link in chat.
looks cool.
Oh wait, I can't see it. Is he sharing?
Oh, I thought you were sharing.
Oh
Sorry.
no,
I'll
go
share the
ahead.
screen
You
now.
go. You share. There you go.
Let me know if that works.
Yeah, we see it. This looks awesome.
All right, so this top section, we're gonna have like 5 to 7 featured apps that we could switch out every week or every second week or something. This will be like showcasing some of the more used apps that people have uploaded. Clicking any of these will take you to like the actual app. So this will take you to Shifties. Over here, you'll see like their daily downloads. This just went live, so like it will only be counting today so far, but it'll show you the last month's downloads. You could tip him directly here. It'll connect to your Solana wallet, and you can send him the tips. 100% of the tips go directly to the creator's wallet. And here you can see their tips history. So he's already gotten over 7,000 hype tokens. Clicking this brings up the Solana Explorer, so you can like see who sent the tip. Your website's a bit slow. Down here you'll see details like license. You could tag your apps with multiple tags, so you can see like what tags this falls under. If a user like updates their app, like let's say you made some new code changes, you just want to change the description or something, this will show you like the latest updated date. And there's also a new setting you could set the version number. So like if someone downloaded your app, they could check that they downloaded version 1, and this will be like version 2 or something. Down here,
cool.
Once users have like multiple apps uploaded, you'll see all the apps from this creator, from Shifty, and clicking view all will take you to Shifty's profile. So here he could like share his storefront, and once he logs in to like set up with the new settings, you could like add your name, your description, social links, website. So, like it'll be like a good like little homepage where you could direct people to see like all the apps you've created. And then down here is a review section. Each person could just leave one review. You have to be logged in to leave a review. This one right here is a bookmark, so I can add it to my favorites. And if I go to my favorites here, then I'll see this app in here. I could add as many as I want, so like once there's hundreds of apps, I can select what my favorites are and easily find them later. This is just copies the link to the clipboard, so you could easily share it to people. Clicking, you could either drag and drop this into the world, or click download to get the app to download. Both of those work. Right now, it's just free, so like the only option is to tip creators, but once we have the premium apps enabled, then the download button will be behind a paywall. You can't just drag and drop at that point, but that's going to be a future update. So here you can see all the apps that are currently on the store. You have some like filters that you could just filter by creators. You could sort by like a table view. I could go in here to like see what apps will come up. It even works if like I mistype the name, it will come up with the closest search results. And then if you go to the dashboard in apps, so here you'll see like your apps. You could like set them as private or public. Go in and edit your apps. Once you have multiple apps, you can go to collections and create a new collection. And this form will allow you to like select multiple apps, and it'll bundle into like a collection, and it'll create a collection page that includes all those apps. So I don't have any apps on this like test account, but once you guys upload more apps, you could test it out over there. And then that'll be like on the marketplace in the collection section. You'll just have like every app in that collection from that user. That's just an example.
Agent 12 said, what does it mean for an app to be private within your own collection?
It means that it'll be in your dashboard, but nobody else can see. Like it won't appear in the apps list. People can't search for it.
So you would use that for just to like track like versions of your own private internal apps, right, or something like that.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, I haven't added a delete button yet, so right now the only way for you to remove it is to set it as private. I gotta add the delete button soon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these are like the different categories. Any tag you apply to the apps, that's like the category will get filtered under. We gotta make some like better placeholder images for those. That's just some like ChatGPT generated. But that's pretty much it.
That's cool. It's so funny having this happen just after I'm talking about palettes and stuff in World. I'm curious what other people think about whether that is even needed, because a lot of the stuff that you've got in here, especially with collections, means that you could have your own stuff in there. Obviously, it doesn't solve the default World palette, like V1 style, official, simple, like blocks that you add to your world, but there's nothing like that could be in here. We could have our own official collection that has those in them.
I want to talk to HP2 to see if we have like a collection with multiple apps here, could we place a button somehow to like just import all of them into your world instantly? That'd be like more on HP side, a little bit above my head.
Yeah, I'm curious if people would find any difference between having this open and just switching back and forth and dragging that into your world that way versus wanting to have a thing in your world that pops open, which is basically this but a mini version in the bottom right, and they drag from there because it's the same sort of thing. Actually, I wonder if you could even just embed this into the world somehow, or something like it.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Just add it to the future list of things to do.
In world, please. Context switching is painful. Agent 12 said. Yeah, I get that. It's actually not that much difference though, right? Like you're clicking a tab and it's there, versus clicking a button and it's there. It's funny. What is the difference? I get it though. It feels more painful, but it's actually about the same. I don't know.
I think the main thing is being able to access it within the world. It being a game engine where you could create like just as long as you have the models, you drag and drop the models in there. You could do everything in the world. I think that's what the biggest draw is. Like AJ said, context switching, having a tab, having a website that you have to rely on. The website is not fully curated. I think one thing that's going to be different would be the curation versus native official apps versus apps that are in a public marketplace that may be paid for, may be free, and that difference of experience, I think, is the biggest.
I think Howie really just kind of summarized it. I think that's right. In world, all we need is an inventory that we can add hypes to. And by default, that inventory just has a bunch of the V1 style apps in there, and you're just going to go and add your own versions and whatnot.
And that's an interesting concept as well, because with the inventory, that also expands out to the stuff that you're pulling. So your VRMs, items that you're using, it technically could all be under that kind of model of you have referencing the V1 stuff is the backpack. You have a backpack of magic that holds a bunch of fun stuff. Some of it is stuff you use as a builder, inventory as a builder, tools and things like that. But then also you have items that you can use in game, in world, to like whip out a sword or whatever. And then others are actually custom hype apps that you've gotten from somewhere you've collected. Like you see something, you say, hey, add this to my inventory. So like you inspect something, you like it, and you put it into your backpack. And how
collections as JSONs for hype info. Omka said, who said that? Yeah, Omka, world repos kind of. In Unity and Unreal, right, you have the package manager. And when you want to add stuff like collections of packages and stuff, you enter in like a URL to that package. And that package then it's basically a JSON file. It has a bunch of things. What if anyone could create apps and you could just put in a URL to that and it will automatically pull in the latest updated versions? So you could have in your world, hype repos. Yeah. Not everyone knows how to make those, but we can create interfaces that build those.
Would that be doable with, already how we have the URL for the hypes when you drop them in, that section? Could that just pull from there somehow? In a way, like if you have the URL to your world, would it have to be, I see what you mean, more so the asset.
Yeah, but like I go create a world, right? Like a brand new world, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to my backpack thing or whatever, my collections tab or whatever, and I'm going to go add a URL, and I go Hyperfy to XYZ/core apps. And now it like constantly that world will pull the apps from that remote place, and it will automatically pull in the new versions as they become available and stuff. Like it'd be fully automatic. A lot of people, I don't know, there's a balance there. There's like, this sounds freaking epic, but also needs to be clean enough for people who aren't devs. And I think it's simple. I think people will get it. It's like, oh, I made a bunch of roads. Do you want them? Like, you can just freaking add this URL to there and it'll automatically stay up to date. So if I add new versions, you'll just get them in your world. And it's fully decentralized still.
Yeah, not to complicate things, but you have a like a qualifier for the version that you want to pull. So the hype repo would be roads
Sure. Yeah.
V1, V2, V3. So you could always refer back to an old version of it if you need it.
I will.
Yeah, for fetching
might do
NFT stuff.
something. I guess that would be kind of a different though. But like, I remember in Resonite and Neos and things, they had kind of a. I mean, it may be similar, but it was basically RedX, which I guess is kind of the equivalent now of like what the Hyperworld hosting and stuff is. But it was like you could find almost any creation anyone ever made in a list, right? Like, and it was from that RedX search. But you also had the abilities to send items, whether it was models, any of that stuff, through messages to people. So like, without having to be in their world, if they needed something, y'all were building two different ones and they needed that asset, you could just send it to them on a DM in the world and it would get it in their world pretty much, like a send feature too.
That's cool.
That kind of time.
Where was that? What was that in?
In Resonite in Neos. So basically, yeah, that's in there. And so it was kind of like, in a sense, that world to world, but you had that overall storage file that was very similar to what you were just describing there. Yeah.
There's something where there's a potential there for worlds to have communications across them in the same way that email works. So email is just like a bunch of servers around the world that talk to each other and they send back and forth messages. And there's no reason why we couldn't have some kind of like information highway between Hyperfy worlds where you whitelist which ones your worlds can talk to and they can then communicate. So you could have like you sending mail from one world to another, and that could include anything. But yeah, there's so many cool things we can do. Satellite dish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the solar panel. Just easy enough to do satellite dish, and then what it's the beaming of little hyper logos that are beaming to the other worlds.
Enough, yeah.
So Dr. Doge, do you want to share your inventory system?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, I can do that. All right, let me. I can share my screen here real quick. Let me get this up.
Man, that's a brick. That's not a Nokia.
Which one is it? Discord. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Share screen. Da-da-da. Make sure it's the right one. Perfect. Yeah, I was just in here too. But let's see, where's it at? Oh yeah, got it up over here. I'm all in the saloon now. Do have some of the Vanguard stuff in here from there. You'll see there's some Death Claws that are still running around, but then you've got like this guy just turned him into he's got a sword now.
The jetpack with the thing is like very Super Saiyan.
Oh yeah, it makes traversing the map a lot easier here. Until I go too high, I could just down. There we go.
Jeez, you just about lost the tip from that airplane.
Yeah, they get close. They get very close. There we go. Yeah, this avatar's a little bit smaller, but yeah. So essentially, I have it set up here now. So when you walk in, you get close. The vendor triggers, and he's he pops in the chat and he starts off with the voice saying, and he's got but essentially, what we have here is just a basic little search container. It pops up. I've got the UI, and you can see down here I've got a backpack. Also, that's pretty much for our inventory that you would get from whatever items. This one at the moment is set up to be a foot locker. Oops, shit, duplicate. I'm still getting used to that. That's fine. There we go, inspect. Different container types, different names, anything like this. So if it's a toolbox, locker, desk, safe, anything for that matter, ammo box, first aid. You've got rarity, loot, different. We can put it on that and put it on the safe. Let's see here. All right, perfect. There we go. You can also use a custom JSON list of items to have straight, in there as well. So it doesn't have to be randomized. But you can see here, it all swapped over to everything's pretty much legendary loot now. Pop it into here. It opens up, pops into my inventory. Still having a little bit of bugs going into it. Like in the logs, it shows that it goes through and that the vendor picks up on what I've gotten. But for some reason here, there are 3 different scripts running trying to communicate at the moment. So I have basically, let me make sure, this one here, this is the overall inventory, which is the backpack. So let me see here, you see that? Got that. It's got its own set of stuff. And then into here, which is the loot containers, which it's got its own set as well. But now it's actually pulling through and going from that one in the bag, but now it's not going from the vendor to the bag as well. So there's a link missing in between one of them, but essentially come over here. Got this, different stuff you can buy. Start off with your caps, whatever you want. And this can be changed out too. I'm just always using this as an example.
The sound. Ka-ching.
Sell it back. Granted, you won't get that. You know, it's set up. You'll never get more than what you pay unless it's legendary. But you can close it out. Yeah, same thing with the random sounds. But essentially, it's just a little vendor system. So kind of needing some. We were sitting there, and I got to thinking about it, and was like, you know what? Yeah, I need a backpack.
What about that hyper orb? What's that hyper orb you got in the store?
At the moment, nothing. It's just something cool to put right there. Thought it looked nice. Yeah. I'll find a use for it at some point in here. You can see I got a lot of random stuff that does that. The PvP core block is acting as a beacon up here on top of the tower, so people wouldn't mess with it. So we just put that up there.
I would say that could be a portal opener. Is you tap into it, you see what worlds are open for PvP or something else, and you activate it, and it turns into a portal.
You know, that's actually a really good. I hadn't thought about this, but it brings up a good point. Yeah, actually having a list of different URLs it could go to. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
What's the goal here? Do we have an end goal around like using all of this together in some kind of like showdown battlegrounds, or is it
Could not at this point. I mean, it kind of was thinking about early on. Maybe we all talked about it. How even as well, you know, because we've got this bogey. It's like a survival style, I guess you'd say, anything like this. But it could, I don't know. It with everything that's going on now with Hyperfy, like the amount of stuff getting released, like going into now with the videos and the voice chat coming, right? Like that's it's opened up a whole new route of possibilities, you know, for this in general, what it could be. Definitely want to have some PvP aspects of it right now, because I mean, at the moment, it's pretty much just EVP. I mean, everything else in the world will kill you, whether it's like the radiation damage, but nothing in the way of actually like killing back. I mean, besides, the little Vanguard thing's been working on over here, but yeah. So I think overall goal, once it all functioning, working good. Now we've got the Solana branches and stuff that's going. Could probably add that, and then figure out a way to come in and maybe just make it like an overall RPG style. I'm not really sure. Just been kind of going as I see it and building along.
Just playing it by ear. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things about the engine is that like a lot of platforms kind of like go down one route. They're like, oh, we're a social thing. Oh, we're gaming. Oh, we're just for like artists and stuff like that. But the funny thing is that like most of those things, but I don't know. I know it's usually good to kind of like keep your target market as niche as possible. It's easy to market to and stuff like that. But the thing across all of those platforms is that they all have the exact same like core to them. They all have like this 3D freaking like immersive type worlds. They all have voice chat. They all have like they all have kind of the same basic stuff with characters and all of that. And I feel like the difference between all of these other things and Hyperfy is that we're kind of trying to do it all, but we're trying to do it in a way that's not like too broad or too specific. I don't know. There's like a really nice balance here, whereas like you're showing me a game right now, but like if you just dropped in screen sharing and voice chat and you know, a couple of things here and there, and you've got a freaking social experience. And then, you know, there's like a blurred line across all of those kinds of things.
Yeah, you got to lunch and learn. You go from survival horror to lunch and learn with Dr. Doge.
Imagine doing a presentation in a room and then you walk outside and everyone starts murdering you.
I think you said it best a couple weeks back was it's it's not about going or fitting into a bucket. You are the bucket. Hyperfy is so flexible and capable and web based and very API friendly to the point where you can integrate almost anything into it, and you become the bucket. You become the way that you can hold anything that is needed. And so I definitely feel strongly about that piece. Is it doesn't have to fit into a single paradigm or approach. It's just it can solve many problems in terms of accessibility, bringing people together, and having a connected experience that crosses boundary. I definitely like the idea of the the concept of email and messaging across worlds. I think that's a very powerful thing that this helps us with.
We should create the hyper network, which is basically opt-in, but it's on by default, and your world will just connect to all worlds on the entire universe. Hyper network, yeah, like the high-speed hyper network, and it's just all worlds are constantly communicating. You can do global chat, and they all just go to a global chat tab or something in the world.
Yeah, we got some good ideas throwing here. Hype ://
The hype protocol. Yeah.
Without the E. I forgot. It has to be without the E. The hype protocol.
It could be opt out.
Yeah.
Most people, like a lot of people, might not want that, so they just turn it off. But I would definitely have that on, just so that all worlds could sort of connect. And you get a friendlet. Then you've got like a fully decentralized thing where people are all self-hosting worlds, but you can still see where your friends are, and all the worlds are constantly connecting, and there's a global chat. And
Correct.
man,
yeah,
I want to not use Discord.
that's the dream right there, is being able to just do your own thing in whatever world that you happen to be in at that moment in time, but you still have access to chat, to voice even, and it's persistent. I think one catch with V1 was when you're trying to show it off, you had to kind of say, okay, let's jump on Discord or just jump on something else to screen share what the worlds that we're visiting, where we're definitely at a point where we can almost do that with this hypernet, is be able to have a persistent layer that you can visit different worlds, and you're still, if one person's stuck in a different world and you're going to the next one, you can still link together, like Howie's hyperphone basically. The chat is popping off here. Let's see. Yep. Chat channels or tags. Yeah, that's the key right there. Is no context switch. Yeah, Agent 12's against any context switch. Just open up a browser, your hype browser, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Trying to do everything in worlds, like I feel like I'm more in my element when I'm in a virtual world than sitting in Discord. I feel kind of like I feel more self-conscious in a Discord voice chat than I would if I was in a world that I could run around in and just like screen sharing and voice chat. I don't know what the difference is. It just feels more in my element. But just going back to like the whole like the trying to build something for everyone. It's just that I see a lot of people build the same thing over and over again. Like people go and build, I'm going to build this thing, and it's like they build 3D worlds, multiplayer, characters, controllers, and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you just built the same thing that literally everyone keeps building over and over and over again. And so a lot of the time I think of Hyperfy as just that bare bone. It's like the bare bones part of that. Like instead of building a game and going from 0, you build a game and start from like 0.7, and you've only got to fill in the blanks.
It's be the bucket, basically.
Yep.
And then Unka, I see your hand is up. I'm not sure. Maybe it's from a past invite. But is there anybody on the floor here in the group that wants to step up, chat, talk about? Oh yeah, I invited you. It's all good. Let's see, Howie. Do you have anything that you want to jump on, talk about? Any secret experiments? Oh, there we go. That's the bucket. Let me shoot you that.
Yeah, Howie's working on a couple of things secretly, and I found out about one of them. And I hear rumors of other things he's working on. I don't know if he wants to share anything, but a bit busy at the moment.
Busy. Yeah, no secrets. Open source, man. Throw it on Git. Show us. Give us the code. All good. Okay. Let's see, Ash. Are you jumping around, getting ganked in there in Fallen? I think that we were trying to get a big group together to jump into this. We gotta pray to.
Yeah, I don't know if I said this, but I think Sari and me are going to seed the loop pool with 1K and make a couple of changes, and then hopefully get some more people in here. And
I would say from a lore perspective, I would almost argue like you could have like a happening where it's like the ley lines are aligned, and when the ley lines are not aligned in the middle of the night, you would have low rewards where the pool is not populated or mobs aren't spawning, and then as the ley lines get closer and the planets align, then you have more energy going into it, and the mobs are more active. And
that's pretty cool. Having like a large loot pool that unlocks by kills, basically, like you have to get everyone in the world has a kill count or something, and at a certain count the loot pool unlocks. That could be very cool.
Yeah, exactly that. There's a kill counter, and it gets to a certain point, and it just opens up, rather than just a one for one. So yeah, cool. So yeah, I'll be jumping in here. I need to get my score up. I'm at 8-7. I need to get as good as Talks up there with his 2-0. I have to learn not to die as much.
It's hard.
Hyper standard time.
Loot tariffs. Standard time. That's funny.
Now TC.
1K streamed every second over the course of a month. Every second, that's a lot. Oh, so tell us about these. These are not goblins, according to you. What are these creatures that we see?
Everybody hates them. They're called Hyperions. They should probably be the enemies that you kill, not the people that you play as, maybe.
Yeah, we should be
But
skeletons. We should be.
This was just an experiment. I mean, if you look at my Twitter, you can see what I did. But basically, they're AI generated, and I rigged them. Because AI is getting ridiculous now. You can just kind of prompt whatever the hell you want from an image, or get ChatGPT to make the image for you. It's kind of ridiculous. The rocks that you mine, I also AI generated. The portals in the lobby there, AI generated, and all I did was just optimize them.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what I wanted. Like, I literally just prompted and went, yep, that's pretty damn cool. The Hyperion guy was just a random thing that looked cool, and I was like, yeah, awesome.
What about this green? What about this grass? This doesn't look like Gen Art's grass apps.
No, those are. I bought like a couple of Cinti packs a while back, and I was just playing around with those. So I just converted them all to GLBs with collision. Threw them into the world. That was like super simple.
Yeah. Yeah, the trees are cool. I like the low. I'm a sucker for the low poly feel, so I love this type of stuff. Curious if anybody's jumped.
Yeah, AI doesn't do great with low poly, but like the rest of the assets are low poly, which means this actually runs on mobile. There's no controls for fighting and stuff, but you can jump into this on mobile even when there's like 20 people in here, and it seems to be fine. Even on my iPhone 12, which is like 5 years old now.
We gotta get you updated one.
Yeah, and I need to upgrade it. Just these days, for some reason my 5-year-old iPhone 12 runs like fine. It doesn't slow down or anything. Maybe it's because I don't give the updates I don't let it update to the latest versions, but it works so good. So I'm like, there's no reason to get a new phone. But it's a good test device as well.
Oh no, I'm gonna die.
But yeah, I don't know, like low poly, if you do it right, low poly can look really freaking good. I'm not saying what we have here is good. I think it's okay. But if you can make low poly look really freaking good, and the benefit of doing that is that your weld will load almost instantly, and
Yeah.
it'll run on almost anything, including WebXR. Like huge worlds in WebXR on the web, like is crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then VR soon enough. Soon, TM.
Yep.
Once we get the controls in.
Yep.
Alright, let's see. What's the full URL for Tatted Alien? It's Tatted Alien Club? Tatted Alien?
Dot club, yeah.
Club.
That's, yes, I got it. Hyperion Hub of
All out
Heroes.
new Hyperfy.
Yeah. Superfluid, but hyper and on Solana. Oh damn! Howie made a really nice hype bucket. Well, Ghibli, he made a Ghibli bucket.
Gibbler sized it.
Ghibli
Yeah, that's good.
size. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Is stream money every second? Every money earn every second. Superfluid is the money stream protocol. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, we might get sued by Ghibli if we share that on YouTube. All right. So is there? Let's see. Is that Bogey there? Yeah. Look at this guy. He's sneaky. He's like a hidden avatar on this audience. I invited him, but I know it's late for him as well. And then Agent 12, did you want to jump on, say anything? If not, nah. He's AI. That explains the weird capitalization.
So what else is happening around as well? Like I know PZ is working on actually I don't even know if I can talk about it. Well, let's just say it's like a Souls-like thing that I've seen floating around. I don't know if anything's been posted publicly, but and Sari's working on PvP shooter, which looks pretty cool. I'm kind of hyped for both of those. I like the Souls lock-on kind of controls that I've seen. That sounds like lots of fun.
Yeah.
And running around shooting people is always fun.
Yeah.
It feels a lot like Counter-Strike, not gonna lie. But more third person Counter-Strike.
Not less pickaxes.
That brings me back.
More
Yeah.
CS. And
Yeah.
let me see if I could find. Let me see if I could find the tweet. I posted the link. So let me pull it forward here. There we go. Where was this? Gen Arts. Could have sworn I saw some tweet. Well, I'll post the links that are shared in the Discord so you folks can see some of those. And I'm sure we're gonna see a little bit more, especially the.
Pew pew.
Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, Unka somehow made it on as a speaker. Did you want to say anything, Unka? Numka.
Umka.
And so what I'm sharing on the screen right now is one of Gen Art's. Definitely support that creator.
That's so cool.
He's putting out really cool things. Now he has wind and rain that's on the way as well. So super neat stuff that he's building. So definitely looking.
I'm gonna guess that's using the new skin mesh stuff rather than like manually animating a bunch of pieces together.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. That looks really cool.
Indeed. Let me see. I'll drop a link as well. Oh, we got a big bucket. Oh yeah.
Bucket.
That should be the new. It shouldn't be backpack. Let's make it V2 bucket.
It's just a bucket.
It's just a bucket. It's just a bucket of holding. And
Games have inventories and backpacks, but Hyperfy has a bucket. Just
yeah, we should have a Hyperion running around, strolling around with a bucket, riding a goat, as it was written. There's a jukebox here. I gotta check it out. I haven't played with it enough, but definitely that's one of the things I definitely wanted to kind of see that I knew that we could pull off is having a jukebox that you could just load tracks into.
Yeah, I think,
that's cool. It'd be cool if you could just place NFTs in it
Yeah,
and it plays them.
exactly.
yeah, you could if you get the track. I guess I'm pulling in from it too. If once screen sharing and stuff gets there, I think it'd probably be a little bit easier to maybe put audio or different things like that into it. It might be. I've tried getting around it.
What
but
if apps could listen to drag and drop?
What do you mean? Listen.
I don't know. Like, what if I could drag and drop an MP3 over the top of that jukebox,
Yeah.
and the
Oh, and it would
jukebox app
automatically
itself
load.
could listen to that file and get it?
Yes, please, 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 please.
Like, it's a weird example, but I feel like there's probably a billion other things you could do with that.
Nah, that would come in handy. Cause yeah,
Being
That
able to
means-
drag and drop into UI at all would be handy.
Yeah, yeah.
That would also
Yeah,
fix the problem we were talking about before with the hype inventory. If we just had a tray that came out, empty tray, and you just drag and drop your hypes into it.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna have to end up doing. It seems like the most low effort but cleanest way to do it. Yeah, 100%. And just a download all button. Whatever. Video to texture, yeah, that's coming. That's I want to put yep.
The,
Screen sharing
the
videos.
streaming thing I was talking about. Since it seems like you guys are a little confused what I meant by that. I was saying you were talking about funding the Fallen World, like putting like $1,000 in the pot or something like that. What I was saying is you should make a different pot separate with the $1,000, and then that pot should stream into the world over time, like constantly. You know, it's just constantly feeding into the world.
Oh, well, so we were going to change it from 5% to a fixed amount, and so that would kind of be the same outcome, right? Because you can control the speed that it is basically flowing into the world. Maybe.
Kinda, I think.
Yeah. Because 5% of $1,000 is what, like $5, $50. Wait, I don't know. My math sucks. I just build engines.
All right. Well, we're at time here, folks. Ash, before we head out, is there anything else based on kind of the idea here about the drag and drop stuff? I definitely think that that's pretty neat. Is there anything else you can think of that to let us know about?
No, as of the same as last week, basically my priority right now is like creator side stuff. Now that we've got Fallen out, I've got a little bit like I'm spending less time on trying to build this, but basically just wanted to get a full experience out to point out. I just want to continue on creator stuff. So like when I talk about screen sharing and video textures and that kind of stuff, I'm enabling all the original V1 apps that we have, and I'm going to start doing basically that the thing where you pull out the tray and you can drag all your apps in there and have like a bunch of default apps that were similar to V1. And I think we're kind of like almost on parity with V1. I say on parity, but like V2 has way more features than V1 already. It's just missing the core parts of V1. And then I think we'll be in a like way better place for creators to come in and do stuff without coding. Yeah. That's pretty much it for me.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you all.